The Lydian Lion. This is the coin that is considered to be the oldest found. It is the so-called Lydian Lion. It is a beautiful coin that is about 2600 years old, thus older than the oldest Greek coins we know of. The artifact comes from the historical kingdom of Lydia, which was located in the western part of Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey. The Greek historian Herodotus claimed that the Lydians were the first people to use coins as a means of payment. Likewise claimed the earlier Xenophanes, ascribing its invention to the Lydians, the first to strike and use coins of gold and silver. Though the terms gold and silver are important here, other coins of other metals could have been used too before the time of the Lydian Lion, though this is uncertain and we have no evidence of this. But we do have something similar to coins in clay seals and clay tablets that functioned like coins and were used in Mesopotamia before this period, by at least a couple of centuries. In any case, the Lydians seem to be the first to have standardized coins of gold and silver alloys, if not of all types of coins in the strictest sense of the word coin, in the definition of a standardized metal object used for transactions and a means of barter. Though the Lydians seems to have been the first, there were many types of coins that appear at around the same time or just a little bit later than the Lydian Lion. For example, this electrum coin from Ephesus could potentially be older, electrum being an alloy of gold and silver. That, by the way, the Lydian Lion coin I mentioned in the beginning of this video is also made of. And Ephesus being a city in the Greek-speaking world of antiquity, in what is modern-day Turkey. Not far from Lydia, by the way. So this could be one of the earliest examples of the adoption of the concept of the coin from the Lydians. And it is possible also that the oldest examples of the Lydian Lion that we have are not the earliest examples of the Lydian Lion either, and are just later mintings of the coin standard. And thus, the oldest Lydian Lions are yet to be found and are actually older than this coin. But this coin could potentially be older than the oldest Lydian Lion coins we have. But for now, it is still believed that this coin is a bit younger than the oldest Lydian Lion coin we do have, this coin. Outside of this coin, we also have the Karshapana coin in India that seems to be almost as old as the Lydian Lion coin, but is probably younger than the Lydian Lion. Though probably not by much. You also have coins in Mesopotamia and southern Arabia that appear afterwards, with just a century afterwards or something like that. So the use of coins appeared quickly and spread quickly once it appeared. But now you might be wondering, but what did people do before the advent of coins? How did people trade before the use of coins? Well, besides just the straight exchange of goods between people, like I give you a fish and you give me a sack of grain or something like that, there were other systems of barter. Previously, I mentioned clay seals and clay tablets in use in Mesopotamia as a form of currency that could be used in bartering for goods and in trading for various goods between people. But there actually was a system of currency that existed before coins that was quite similar to the use of coins, but less refined. And that was the use of metal ingots or clumps of metal as a means of payment in commercial transactions, where you would pay with small pieces of metal for various transactions, and these would be weighed, as these pieces were not standardized like coins were. This use of cast metal pieces or smaller ingots or clumps of metal as a medium of exchange is very ancient and probably developed out of the use in commerce of ordinary ingots of bronze and other metals that possessed an intrinsic value of use. This appeared probably during the earliest phases of the Bronze Age as a medium to facilitate transactions. Trade ingots or trade clumps of metal, often of non-precious metal, were used in Mesopotamia, southern Arabia and in China. The Chinese also invented a system based upon using rare and precious seashells as a medium for commerce. These seashells could be standardized like coins and thus had a very similar function to coinage. That is defined by minting and a standardization of their content regarding the alloys and metals that are used in their creation process. But they weren't really coins, as they weren't made of metal. And the system did have issues by being based upon organic matter that could easily break, and whose availability could shift radically depending upon various factors in nature. Due to, for example, a good season of harvest regarding these shells could lead to inflation, and a bad season regarding the harvest of these shells could lead to deflation, and thus were not a very good thing to use in the long run as a stable currency. At least not in comparison to coins, whose minting could be easily controlled, at least in comparison to these seashells. The introduction of coinage into world history meant stability and standardization of trade, and thus ease of trade. Coinage was a means to quickly pay and transfer wealth and to conduct various agreements in a secure way where you knew what you would be getting from the agreement in a way that was not possible as precisely before the introduction of coinage. I cannot overstate how important this is in order to create large-scale areas of intensive trade and thus incentives for production and thus wealth generation in history. The coin is one of those inventions that are so revolutionary we often do not even think about how revolutionary it is truly for our lives. And its introduction into human history changed economies forever, made the world more interconnected, and became an object of commerce that, unlike the ingots or clumps of metal, could be an object that was recognizable and reoccurring in people's lives due to its standardization. Something that people quickly figured out could be used for spreading information, to be used as a propaganda tool for political, religious and symbolic representations. For example, the Lydian Lion on the coin is a religious symbol, representing the fusion of the sun god's protection of Lydia with the authority of the kingship of Lydia, with the lion beneath the sun symbolizing the kingship. Religious symbolism on coins is quite common historically, and later coins, for example this Athenian coin, has the goddess Athena and the owl representing her on it. And on even later coins you can see Christian crosses, and even later on Islamic coins, the Shahada, the Islamic confession of belief, or quotes from the Quran, and so forth. Another popular thing to have done historically on coins is to put the face of the ruler on the coins as well. As the use of coins might be the only time the ruler of the land might actually be seen by people, as the ruler of the land might be far away or never interact with normal people due to various reasons. In addition, the ruler or some other important historical figure being present on coins also gives a certain connection between the people and the rulership, or this tradition that the coin tries to convey. By exposing people to this tradition or this rulership through the use of coins. Remember, coins are the first example of widespread propaganda that reached normal people that was ever developed. Far before the printing press, newspapers, modern media, and to not even mention social media. Coins were the first type of mass propaganda that reached normal people. And to this day, coins with rulers, important historical figures, political and religious symbolism and messages are common in all the world's currencies. So this has continued to our day. And it all started with this Lydian coin. And I hope you found it interesting. Please comment, ask questions and like this video.
Please do subscribe, as it would help the channel spread awareness about the humanities.
اشتركوا بالقناة من فضلكم.